Hey everybody, what's going on? I'm just getting started, so we'll get I'm just talking because there's nobody on yet because there's a delay between when I go on and when you actually start seeing me. So I'm just talking for the sake of talking, but once you see me and hear me, please let me know how the picture and sound quality is. We're going to get just a minute or two and then we will get into it. I guess was the end of that sentence. So Thorn says upside down emoji or upside down smiley emoji. Shannon says, hey. All right. Let me know how the picture and sound quality is, please. We're live in a few places today. Facebook ×2. We're on LinkedIn, YouTube ×2, Twitch, Twitter, which I'm still going to call Twitter to upset the bros, and Instagram because, well, that's it. Adam says, hey, all good. What's up, Adam? That's weird. People just dropped off all of a sudden. I had a bunch of people on and then it just dropped off. I wonder if something happened. It's very, very odd, very unusual. But we'll give it a few more minutes to see if that's just a glitch or what's going on. A minute ago, we had about 30 people on and then it went down to like 3, which I've never seen happen before. So hopefully we'll get back to it. But anyway, that's not what we want. Let's see if we can't round up some more folks and then we'll go ahead and start. In the meantime, if anybody has any question, like a 70 TV, I never get your sense of humor, Dorn. It's not that it's not funny. It's just, I don't get it. 70s TV show. Maybe it's because I wasn't born until like almost the 70s were over. Maybe that's why I don't get that joke. Oh, wrecked. It is grainy a bit. I really don't see how that's possible, but I don't know. Maybe refresh your connection or something. Or maybe make sure that's selected on, if you're on YouTube and you are, make sure you have 1080 turned on, but should be fine. And we'll get started in just a second. I just want to send a couple notifications. Maybe it's auto blur. How many votes? I can't figure it out. For those that don't get the joke, I told people I was on 460. Damn you. Yeah, I've had that happen before too. For those that don't get what he's talking about, I told people locally to write in my name on any uncontested elections. But so far, all I can find is where it puts write-in votes and it doesn't break down who it is. So I don't know is the answer. All right. I wonder where everybody went because there was like a couple dozen people on and then it just dropped. That's very unusual. Anyway, we'll get started in another 1 or 2 minutes. I've got some cool stuff I want to show you that I hope will benefit you because, that's what we like to do is provide value. And I'm going to show you how you can use 2 or 3 different tools to create content for your socials and things like that. So let me know if you are currently making any kind of content, whether it's social media, blog content, YouTube, anything like that. Let me know in the chat if that's you or if it's not you, because that'll help me understand who's here. And also it'll give me something to say while we're talking or while we're waiting for me to do this. So yeah, let me know in the chat, in the comments, whatever. All righty. Darko says 100%. Dorn says, yep, a bit. Adham says, and I know that's not how to pronounce your name. I'm just messing with you, but says, yes, I'm currently making blog posts, doing my best to enhance it, but I'm not sure if it's a good idea to generate content for blog posts. Rod, what's up, Rod? Says SMM blog posts. I'm really upset about the turnout because there was like a bunch of people waiting and then they just dropped, which is really uncommon. Sell in Comp Repairs says, and there's your free plug, by the way, says blogs. Okay, cool. What I'm mostly going to be talking about today is social media content, but not necessarily. Like you can apply it to whatever you're doing. Keith says blogs. God bless SEOs. All right. Let me make sure there's nobody on Instagram saying anything. Nope. All right. So what we are going to do is go ahead and get started. So let me bring up a page with a few different tools that we're going to be using today. Do you need to humanize AI content? Stick around. We're going to talk about how I'm going about that. Kent says, hey, everybody. What's up, Kent? All right, let me go ahead and share my screen and we will get into it. We want tab, window is what we want. We want this one. And all right. So the problem, and I think Jay was asking how do you humanize AI content? So what a lot of people get wrong with AI content in particular is they just tell it to create content based around a certain thing. And then they just take whatever I'm going to assume you meet ChatGPT, but it could be whatever other tool you're using, Gemini, Claude, whatever. But then they just either just paste it into what and call it a good, or they edit it, but it still doesn't have any, I guess, soul, for lack of a better term. So what I've come up with is a way to kind of emulate somebody that is already effectively making content and then twist it to be, around you, similar to you, the way you would do it. And then turn that into tweets and Facebook posts and short form video and maybe even long form video or blog post if you want to go that direction. And I know that's a big challenge because I've tried it myself. And I mean, we all know AI content when we look at it. Like people ask, does Google can Google identify AI content? Anybody that disagrees with that they can't is wrong. Now, whether they care or not is a different question, but anybody that says that they can't detect it is wrong. And Chris is right. Because most of us can eyeball AI content and identify it, right? Like in today's competitive digital landscape, that shit, we can all look at that and instantly know AI content when we see it. So to think that Google can't figure it out or whoever else can't figure it out is ridiculous. But my point in all of that is it just doesn't, even when it's unique, it really doesn't have any heart or any personality to it. So the idea is to create a personality. And I've used a few different tools to come up with this, and I'm going to actually walk you through doing it live here today. So the first thing you want to do is to identify the type of content that you want to make and find someone that makes the kind of content that you want to make, so you can figure out what they're doing that's working and emulating, and then you can emulate it and then twist it to your own message, your own offer, whatever, and kind of put it into your own voice, right? So let me go ahead and maximize my screen so you can see it better. So the first thing we're going to do is we identify that. Now that's something you're going to have to figure out on your own, because you just need to know who you like and who you want to sound like and what message you want to deliver. I mean, you can even talk to ChatGPT and try to figure that out as well. But I mean, at some point we have to be responsible for knowing what's going on in our business, in our industry, and so on. So that's step number one. I'm assuming that everybody does that. So for my example, I am going to use Alex Hormozi. So let's go over here and let's bring up his Twitter. And I call it Twitter because the bros on Twitter hate that you call it Twitter and not X. So I'm sure most people know who he is. If you don't, well, then I'm sorry. But, he talks about business and sales and things like that. And he's a big influencer in the online space, the business space, whatever, written a bunch of books, does pretty well. So let's suppose we want to create content similar to his, but different, unique, and still human sounding. So the first thing we need to do is learn to understand what his content does. Now, we could manually read all of that, but I don't know about you, but I don't have time for that shit. So what I did was I found a Chrome extension, and there may be other tools that do this. You might be able to do this with Grok AI, which is Twitter's AI. I bet some of you didn't even know that. And then what I did was I found, well, actually I had someone find for me what the hell is it? An extension called, where the hell did it go? There it is, TW Extract. Now what this does is you can click on it and it'll go through and just put in a Twitter handle and it will go through and extract all of their tweets, or as many of them as you want. You can filter it by date as well and some other settings, but I just want all of it. So I did this ahead of time because it does take a little bit of time to go through and extract, especially if it's a big account. But you can see what it did here was it extracted 5,242 of Alice Hormozi's tweets. Now I'm going to open up the file and show it to you what it created. It's going to take a little bit because I don't know, or not really actually. So let me stop sharing that and share screen again. So you can see what it did. It gave you the ID. I don't really know what that is. I guess that's just some way of them IDing it. And then the actual text of the tweet, the URL of the tweet, which there's probably some stuff you can abuse there, SEOs. The type is a tweet, the tweet author, the handle, the reply count, the quote count, the retweet count, the like count, and the views count. So you can, and then the bookmark count and when it was created and so on. So there's a lot you can do with this, right? But what I want to do is, well, there's two different ways I've done it. I created another persona that I'm going to show you how to do here in a minute, based just on the tweets. But what we're going to try for this one is to sort it by the number of views and take the best, like, I don't know, 200 or so. Let's see, we'll say 500 tweets because that's about 10%, not quite 10%. So what we're going to do is go data, sort, and I'm not an Excel master by any means. So unselect, and we want views. Sort by views. No, that's remove duplicates. Sort by views. I told you I wasn't great at this. Views, and we're going to go largest to smallest. So why did it? Oh, fuck's sake. All right, let's filter and remove these because Excel's not smart enough to do that on its own for some reason. So let's go ahead and remove these. And again, there's probably people out there screaming, there's an easier way to do this. I'm sure that there is. I just don't know it because I'm not a master at Excel. So what we're doing right now is removing the ones that with just a dash for the views. I don't know if that was because they were made before it started reporting views or whatever. But anyway, first tweet testing. Yeah, see, that's probably what that is. So let's delete row and remove that filter. And now it should be sorted by the ones with the most views. So what we're going to do is go down to row 500. And again, I know there's probably an easier way to do this. So bear with me. All right, row 500. So what we're going to do is get rid of the rest of those. And I know I sound like a broken record, but I understand that there's a better way to do this. I just don't know what it is. So forgive me for that or don't. I don't really care. But anyway. All right, so let's go ahead and delete those rows. Great. Now we have a list of his 500 most viewed tweets. So what I like to do then for these purposes is just delete the rest of these columns because it's just going to confuse what we're going to do next. So delete and then file, save as, more options, desktop, Hormozi tweets. I know you can't see what I'm typing right now, but just bear with me. Hormozi tweets and save. All right, now we have a file of his top 500 most viewed tweets. So now what we're going to do is, oh, fuck's sake, come over to ChatGPT, and what we're going to do is create a persona based on the tweets there. So one second while I pull up the prompt. All right. So let's go over here and let's paste that in. You guys see that okay? Zoom in a little bit. All right. So it says I attached a spreadsheet, which I still need to do, with the top 500 most views tweets Alex Hormozy has ever made. I want to create a persona based on that will create similar but unique content. I want to be able to ask it to generate me tweets and long form content based on that criteria. Does that make sense? Let's attach the file. So now what we're going to do is send it. Let me zoom back out. And this will take a minute or two because it's got, a lot to go through. Let me know if you'd like me to start with the analysis. So yeah, yes, please start. Yes, please start. By the way, there was recently a study that showed that being polite to ChatGPT actually does make it give you better output. So again, this is going to take a minute or two because, yes, proceed. Please. I wish ChatGPT would get a little bit better at knowing when to proceed and when not, but I get it. Yes, please. Create the persona. You see, it even gives you prompts for how to create tweets. It gives you themes. It gives you the content types, instructional lists, motivational threads, personal anecdotes, language patterns, content structure, engagement. This is a lot of valuable information that you would have paid a lot of money to get some quote unquote expert to do. So now what you could do is use these prompts. But what I like to do is not that. Instead, what I do, and let me see, where was it? And one thing I did in the original one of these that I did was, where is it? Okay. Let's create some sample tweets. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. Would you like me to generate a sample tweet or longer content piece? Yes, please. Create several tweets and a long form post. Tweet number 1, how to turn your life around in one step. Decide to take full responsibility for everything. Stop blaming, start acting. The results will shock you. That sounds pretty good, right? The key to mastering any skill: 1, start before you're ready. 2, keep going when it's boring. 3, repeat until it's second nature. Pretty good, right? And then the long form one, this could be like a Facebook post, for example, or even a short blog post, I suppose. The 5 hardest truths about success no one wants to admit. Success is often romanticized with countless stories highlighting the end result and blah, blah, blah. You get it, right? So this created some pretty good content, and that's in a voice that people have shown to respond to based on tweets that are already working. So we've already been at this for about 20 minutes. Does anybody have any questions? Does anybody follow along? Does this make sense why you would want to do this rather than just say, make me 5 tweets about business or something like that. Let me know how this is going so far while I grab a drink of water, and then we'll continue because there's several more steps to do. Also, if anybody wants me to save these prompts into like a file, I can put those in the chat. Jay, that question makes no sense. Does that work in content also? That's literally what I just showed you how to do, is to create content with this. I don't understand that question. So can you please clarify? What is the Chrome plugin called? Yeah, there's several that you can find. And there's probably other ways to do that. But the one I used was called, what the fuck is it? It's really hard to see in here. Tweet extract, TW extract. So let me bring up that page for Chrome. Oh, come on. Yeah, here it is. TW extract. There's a free version that only gets you 200 tweets that you can download, and the paid version is like, I think it was like $26 for a year. I don't quote me on that, but it's something like that, something pretty inexpensive. And there's that. And there were others that I found the same. Anything like this for Facebook to extract Facebook posts? Probably. I didn't look for that, but probably. So and I'll go ahead and throw that in the chat. All right. So, all right. Yes, definitely save the prompts. Yes, please. Okay, I'll put those in the comment. So there. So is it possible to copy the contents of some top ranking blog post, do the same and generate a blog post for me? You're going to have to find a way to download and save them into some sort of file, because ChatGPT just can't read other URLs. At least I haven't figured out how to do it. Absolutely see how this can be very valuable in creating content that will have much better odds of getting engagement. Thank you. All right, cool. All right, let's continue on. Now we need to create a bunch, right? We've done that. So let's say, yes, please do. What was the next thing I told it? All right, let's say you just want a single Facebook post. So let's say, make me a Facebook post, please. I'm hungry. All right. So, I mean, this is pretty straightforward. I don't think you need me to explain that. I would still try to, you could use, what's the, is it Dolly that creates images here? You could do that to make an image for that too. Personally, I find that pictures of me or the person whose post it is work better. But you could, if you wanted to create an image for this, and Facebook posts do work better with an image. So there. So, just to do that. Would you like this post? Would you like more posts like this or focused on a different topic? You could say yes or no. But I think this is pretty good. I've spent years observing, learning, and refining my approach to life and business. Along the way, I discovered lessons that fundamentally change the way I think and act. These are lessons I wish I had known sooner, and I want to share them with you today. So it's pretty good, right? At least I think it is. I don't think it reads nearly as AI as most AI content does. So there's that. Now, that's one thing you can do. The other thing is, suppose you want to make a couple weeks worth of tweets that you can then use to fill up your Twitter or whatever. The prompt I use is not really a prompt, but I guess it's a prompt, is just this: write me 14 posts I can make today. Now, one thing I noticed is if I say posts rather than tweets, I get a little bit better quality. I don't know why, and I'll show you the difference here in a moment. Here are 14 posts you can do. See, these are tweet length, but they're a little bit more in depth, right? So I think that's pretty straightforward. You know what I mean? I think these are pretty good. Let me just pick one at random. What's one goal you've been putting off that you'll commit to starting this week? Share below, and let's hold each other accountable. It's a little cheesy, but it's pretty good. Growth and comfort do not exist. Ginny Rometty. If it feels too easy, it's time to push harder. Remember, the best investment you can make is in yourself. Books, courses, mentors, never stop learning. These sound authentic, like things people would say. And I think these are good posts. And then I'm actually going to steal this engagement prompt one for our next tool. But what's one piece of advice you can give you'd give your younger self? Mine would be, don't fear failure, don't fear regret. So I think that's pretty good. I'm going to change what mine would be, but but I think these are pretty good, right? Now, the difference, Alexa, stop. The difference in saying that and saying tweets to me was a little surprising. So let me show you why. So when I asked for tweets instead of posts, this is what happened. See how they're like these shorter one sentence things? Those are fine too. But for me, I phrased that poorly. I wanted one tweet a day for 12 days. But for me, these were a little bit better and they still fit in the length of a tweet. So to me, those were better. You try it for yourself and see what you think works. Character limit. I don't know what it is on X anymore, on Twitter anymore. It's 280 is what it shows before it gives you like a read more, but you can make some pretty long tweets. So I don't know what the character limit is before it forces you to do subtweets. But I don't know. To me, these have their place too, but I found these to be better. So, your mileage may vary. Terry says they're better, they're pretty good and saves time of creating them manually. Yeah, exactly. All right, so let's take one. Now, the next thing we need to do is post these, and you can use whatever, you can do it manually if you want to, or you can use whatever scheduling tool you like. There's a bazillion of them out there. The one I like specifically for Twitter is called Hype Fury. I'll put a link to that in the chat and in the description before we peace out, because I want to grab an affiliate link before I do that. But it's pretty straightforward, right? I actually like it because it has a lot of cool other stuff you can do. Like you can have it post over to your Instagram as well, things like that. But let's go ahead and create. And we're going to make sure Instagram is turned off. I was doing all of these over to Instagram for a while, and I didn't like that. But let's push them over to Threads. So let's go ahead and do that. Mine would be people that aren't watching and see this on Twitter. That's going to be funny. Mine would be start right away and figure it out as you go rather than planning it to death. And then you can do a couple different things. You can, if you want to show a preview, I don't know what that actually does. Okay. You can schedule it. You can post it right now, which is what we're going to do in a second. You can set it as an evergreen post. No offense, but it's much easier to create social media content using AI. But when it's about blog, and not if you actually do it right. You're not right on that. You're right if you do it lazily and just ask it to create a post. But if you do the work and build the briefs and the structure in the first place, it can be easier. So no offense, but I disagree with you on that. I think that when done right, it can help systemize it. Now, that said, I do think that it's not in a place where it will completely replace really experienced writers, but for most of what most people do, you can get just as good a quality content out of AI if you structure it properly and go through the process and have the processes in place and saved. Then you can get it much quicker and with the same quality as you can for the average blog post. If you want a really high quality piece of content, yeah, I agree. So anyhow, you can schedule it on the next free time slot, or you can choose a time. I mean, this isn't really the point of this. Is to demonstrate this tool, but I just wanted to show you. Change the time to whatever. You don't really need me to explain how that works. But we're going to go ahead and post this right now. Yes, post now. That's pretty much it. And just to quickly run down this tool, if we go over to dashboard, of course, it has some cool stuff. You can just take a tweet and change it into a reel. I don't really like that yet because it doesn't let you pick which tweets. It only has a handful that you can select from. You can do an AMA on Twitter, which I guess is cool. You can see the queue. I have I have exactly 136 tweets scheduled. I'm still playing with the timing to see what works best. You can get inspiration if you want. I prefer to use other tools for that personally. Recurrent post, you can have a post every Monday at 8 a.m. Whatever, you get the idea. Power ups, this is kind of cool. Automatically retweet your tweets to give them more visibility. I thought I had that turned on. You can set that to when it gets 3 likes or whatever. I don't know why that was turned off. You can have auto plug. I'm not going to turn this on, but basically, once your tweet gets X amount of whatever, oh, Jesus Christ, you can have it say whatever you want. So you can have it pitch your thing or whatever. So there's that. Auto retweeter, when a tweet gets X amount of likes, comments, or whatever, you can have it retweet. Auto untweeter, you can have it untweet, upload a CSV. And you get the idea. You don't need me to read every little thing, but you can have auto share to Instagram when it gets to a certain level of engagement. You can do the same with LinkedIn and to Twitter, or not to Twitter, to Facebook. So those are all pretty cool. YouTube to tweet, I don't know what this does. It says it's unavailable. Engagement builder, this is where you can find feeds of people who you want to comment on, because comments are really powerful on Twitter, and you can just follow them and do that. And the same with like keywords that you can follow. This is mentions of you. That's pretty straightforward. Auto DMs is where you set up a campaign to automatically DM people to pitch them or whatever. Time-based sales, this is a sales thing. Analytics, my analytics are pathetic because I suck at Twitter for some reason. History, evergreen posts, you get the idea. Auto plug metrics. This is a really powerful tool. I think it's like, I don't remember the price. It's $20 a month, but you can use whatever. You can use whatever scheduling tool you want. There's not literally, but there are quite a lot of them out there. I was going to say there's literally a million of them. I doubt that's true, but there's a lot. So just use whatever one you want. This is the one I like, and I'll send you my affiliate link so you can give me money. Terry says, yes, Chris, if you really know what you're doing, then you'll get good quality blog. That's what I do for my clients' blogs, and it turns out great. AI plus a professional who really knows how to use it. It's good. Yeah, like I say, it does take some extra work. And I do get the point that if you're a good writer, it's easier already to just write it. But yeah, anyway. Now, what we have done is we've created a bunch of really, at least in my opinion, really good content for social media, for Twitter, for Facebook, for LinkedIn, and so on. But the way the world works today, we need some video too, right? So the tool that I have been using to do that, and I just posted, and I'm going to show you here in a second. I just posted a reel / TikTok / whatever just a few minutes ago before the stream. And I'm going to show you that after we get done. But the tool that I've been using to create video content that is still me, but is of this type, is called HeyGen. Now, what HeyGen lets you do is create a persona, what do they call it? Not a persona. No, we'll just figure it out here in a second. But basically, you can you upload a video of yourself that's 5 minutes long, and then it will be able to talk and replicate your voice, your mannerisms, and so on. So that way you could, of course, you could do this yourself, but that way you can really like crank those out a lot faster. So let's go ahead and create one. An avatar, that's what they call it, an avatar video. And this tool does a lot of other stuff too. But we're going to do a portrait one so we can use it for shorts. And you see you can use some of these avatars that they have built in. I don't know about you, but I always know when I see stuff like this is AI. But your mileage may vary. But these are a couple of looks that you can give it different looks. So if you want to have yourself in a different place or a different background, or maybe you lose some weight or gain some weight or whatever, but I'm going to choose this one for now. I'm going to center it. Which I'm struggling with for some reason. There we go. Get rid of the watermark. And what we're going to do is come over and take one of our posts. And we're going to click here, paste that in there. And you can get up to 2,000, I think it's characters, or maybe 2,000 words. So pretty significant amount of words. And then that's it. You're just going to click submit. Entitled video, I don't know, Hormozy example. And turn off the watermark and submit. And this will take 3 or 4 minutes. So while that's doing that, let's go over to check out the one I posted shortly before the stream. So stick that in there. Let's see. Reels. Let's be real. See what I did there? 33 didn't really take off that much. Some, these are hit and miss, of course. Let's go over to YouTube. This is it right here that I made right before the stream. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear this. So that's not bad, right? That sounded pretty much like me, a little bit slower than I talk, but let's go over to YouTube, see how it did there. And to be perfectly transparent, I have not cracked the code on how to make successful shorts. So YouTube Studio, content, shorts, whatever it takes. 3 likes, 1 dislike. Who cares? Views, that's not right. Views is 103 views in about a little over an hour, which it's not great, but it's not the worst. And then let's check out Instagram. Profile. Reels. Yeah, 38. Didn't take off there too much. And TikTok, I'm sure it flamed out on. But, the point is you can crank out a bunch of them. This wasn't really that well thought out. Updated. Yeah, piss off. God, TikTok is dumb. 220 in less than an hour. So that's pretty good. At least it's well above my not well above, but within my average. So I think that's not bad. So all for something that it took me 2 seconds to create. So let's come back to HeyGen and see if it's done yet. Not quite. So I'm going to grab a sip of water while it does that. Does anybody have any comments or questions or anything? Nope. All right. So let's see what we got. These are hit and miss. There was one, you can see I did this one and then I redid it. No, it was this one. And then I just didn't like the way that one came out. For some reason, it gave me an accent that made it sound like I didn't like, anyway, I didn't like the way it sounded. I'll just leave it at that. All right. So let's take a look. I don't know if you guys can hear this or not. I'm sorry if you can't. Yeah. If I had this to do over again, I would put like some ellipses after trust me. So there's a longer pause, but I think that sounds pretty good. So now you have a short that you can use on whatever platform you want to use it on. You just download it or whatever. So, and like I said, that took me 30 seconds to do. I could create a dozen of those, 100 of those, and have content for as long as I want. So that's how I do that. And you could use this. You could do this for YouTube as well. I don't have a. You know what? Let's take a look at that. Write a YouTube script from one of those posts. So this would be a little bit harder to do with AI. But I mean, if you want to just do your own YouTube, you can do that as well. And somebody's asking about blog posts. We'll take a look at that in just a minute. I haven't tried that before, so I don't know if this is going to work or not. See, that's a pretty, I'm not going to read the whole thing to be honest, but that's a pretty decent script that it pooped out in just a minute or so. Now, somebody asked for a blog post. Create an SEO optimized blog post of about 1,500 words. What I have noticed is that ChatGPT is not good at word count. So we'll see. 5 hard truths about success that most people ignore. Introduction, discipline over motivation. I'll zoom in afterwards so you guys can kind of see that. At a glance, it looks okay. I would go in and add some personal anecdotes if it were me. But you zoom in so you can see that a little better. That's too much. 5 hard truths about success that most people ignore. It's got a fairly well written introduction, bullet points. You know, it's a little bland. You could ask it to add some images. I don't find that AI, or at least this particular AI, is good with images, but I don't know. Your mileage may vary, but I think this is a decent blog post. It's a little generic, but I don't know. That would probably cost $30 or $40 from a writer. So, you know, hopefully that addresses that concern. Fadima, Famida. All right. That's pretty much what I'm doing. So just to recap, is to figure out who you want to create content in the style of. Try using Grok AI, which is the built-in AI from Twitter, to analyze their tweets. If that doesn't work, scrape them using Tweet Extract, TW Extract, or some other tool. There were others. This was the first one I found that did what I wanted it to do, and I didn't look anymore beyond that. And let it pull out all the tweets. You can choose to sort them by views or likes or engagement or whatever, or you can just dump them all in. Then come over to ChatGPT or the AI of your choice. I think that this is probably the one that most people are familiar with. Give it this prompt, which I will download, or I'll put into a Google Doc, and I'll link in the description and in the first comment of this video once we're done. Have it do the analysis, encourage it to continue, create the persona, and then tell it to create tweets in a long form post. Tell it to make a Facebook post. Tell it to make 14 posts. And remember that posts will get you, in my opinion, better quality post than tweets. Tweets for the next 10 days or whatever. You know, you can create a year's worth. I did that with one of the personas that I'm using. You can have it make a YouTube script, a blog post, and so on. Schedule them with Hype Fury or whatever scheduling tool that you like. I recommend this one. Then use HeyGen, or just make them yourself if you prefer, but use HeyGen to create them, create a, what did they call it? I keep forgetting. Avatar. Create an avatar of yourself and then use it to create videos and either shorts or long form videos. And that's it. I mean, that's literally it. You have now a content system, and then you just go over to Legiit. No, it actually doesn't have that ability. I purposely gave it the URL and told it to create based on different people, and it didn't work. I mean, it worked, but the quality wasn't there. I wanted to give it every piece of data that it could to analyze it. And in fact, we can check that out in a second. But then what you do is you come over, if you don't want to do it yourself, to Legiit, and just hire yourself a virtual assistant to do it for you. And that's it. That's the whole process. So let's go back to what Sam was saying. Let's go ahead and copy this. Create a persona based on Alex Hormozzi's best tweets. I just didn't find that it was the same. So it's not bad. Yeah, I suppose that's fine. But I found that I got better output when I did that, and it can't read direct URLs. Read the the best tweets here and create the persona. I found that the more data I fed it, that's interesting. It gets basically the same thing. The more data I fed it, the more accurate it was. You can skip that step if you want. I just want to give it as much valuable information as I can. So your mileage may vary. I found that it worked fine with that. I asked it in the beginning to, what did I tell it? To like read somebody's URL, and it told me that it couldn't. So again, it's up to you. Where is it? Yeah, I can't find it. But in the beginning, I asked it to like do it that way, and I just didn't like the output. I don't remember why. But I mean, that does look pretty similar. So skip that part if you want, or don't. I think you're going to be better off doing it that way, because another reason with that is like, if you don't give it the specific ones, like, I don't know if you were here at the beginning, Digital Sam, but I removed most of them and just used the top 500 with the most views. I feel like if you just tell it that without the specifics, it's going to come in. And if he ever just does some random personal tweets, or like he's probably been talking about the election or something, that'll get put into the data as well. I wanted to give it specific data set. So there's different ways you can go about it for sure. All right. It is 4:47. We've been here for 47 minutes. Let me see if I missed any questions over on Facebook. God, it loads so slow when I'm streaming. I don't know why either. I have enormous bandwidth. It doesn't look like it. All right. Yeah, if there's any questions or any comments, or let me know if you thought this was dumb. Let me know if you thought it was useful, if you thought it was cool, if it's something you'll do, if you have any questions about content or anything at all. Let me know. Let me see if I missed any questions on Instagram. Nope. So that was the recap, though. I don't know. I'm going to let it go for another minute or two to see if there's any questions. If not, we will wrap up for the day. And I'll try to be back tomorrow. If not, I'll be back before the end of the week for sure. I know that I was a little not as many. I wasn't live as many times this week as usual. All right, gonna give it until 4:50 before I see if there's any questions. If there's not, we will call it a day. All right, going once. And you never know what to say in these awkward silences. All right, well, that's it then. I'm not going to sit here and just wait. I hope you enjoyed this. If you're watching this on YouTube, please do me a favor and click the subscribe button so you can subscribe. It helps me with the channel. It helps me grow. It helps me stay motivated. It helps me keep going. How did it go there? To be honest, last I checked, we were still having trouble with indexing. That's why I haven't revisited that. Peter says, howdy. What's up, Peter? Yeah, it helps me stay motivated to keep this growing and keep things going. So subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss out. We're doing 3 or 4 live streams a week, most weeks. So I hope I bring some value to you that way. And that's it. Thank you for just spending your time here. I know you could have been, and there's a lot going on in the world right now. I know you could have been a million different places and probably have a lot on your mind. And you chose to spend it here. So that means a lot to me. I'll never take that for granted. So thank you for that. And until tomorrow or the next day, figure out what you want out of life and go out and get it, because you owe it to yourself. You owe it to the world. I'll see you again soon. Peace.